Hello, hello. Welcome to the latest edition of Falcons in Focus. I am Terrin Waack, joined per usual by Tori McElhaney, and today's guest of honor is Jimmy Lake, the Falcons defensive coordinator, if you didn't know.
If you didn't know.
In case you missed the past 5 months.
Right.
But for starters, per usual too, as the official ticket, I take a huge breath right before every time.
Yeah. It's a long read.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Atlanta Falcons and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Falcons at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. Download the Ticketmaster app or find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Falcons. That's Ticketmaster.com/Falcons. Now let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jimmy.
Let's get to know Jimmy a little bit.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Are you nervous, excited?
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear what questions are going to get lobbed my way.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see what's going on here.
I guarantee they're not going to be like any of the questions you just answered in that 30 minutes of media availability.
Yeah, for the people, we just finished media availability with all the coordinators and all the position coaches, and we're just running around from table to table talking to you guys. So this is a little different.
Well, it's good. I got my fill of talking football, and now I get to talk with you all about whatever you guys want to ask me.
Not you. In this podcast, I don't care about the Falcons defense.
We do. For our jobs, we do.
Anyways, we're going to rewind back to your childhood to start.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yes.
So you have a very interesting childhood.
Moved around quite a bit casually.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Why was that?
So my father was in the Air Force, and so he was stationed at Travis Air Force Base in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I was born in Walnut Creek, and most military, if you know about the military, they usually move around bases about 3 to 4 years, and that's what we did. We moved all over, and I spent a bunch of time overseas. Spent close to 4 years in Turkey at Incirlik Air Force Base, 5 years at Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines. And then before that, when I left California, I think I was 4 years old, did a stint at Fairchild Air Force Base in the state of Washington, right outside of Spokane, Washington. And so then after we were done with our tour overseas, my mom really enjoyed the Northwest in the state of Washington. And so we ended up moving back to Spokane, Washington. And that's where I went to high school and then played college football at Eastern Washington, and now, of course, my career coaching takes me all over the place, and so everything that my parents did to me as a young kid, I've done to my kids, and now my kids have been dragged around, I think, about 6 or 7 different states in the last 20 years.
Honestly, you learn something about yourself, though, when that's kind of the lifestyle. I know you're very young, but what memories do you have of Turkey or the Philippines? I don't even know where to start, because that's pretty interesting in and of itself.
Well, I'll start in Turkey. The food is incredible.
Oh yeah.
And
I want to make a turkey joke.
I still eat. I still eat a ton of Mediterranean, Persian food. Whatever you want to call it. I remember being young and walking off base with my family and just smelling the shish kebab and the vegetables, and it would just be all over the marketplace and in the downtown streets of Adana is what the city is called, outside of Incirlik Air Force Base. And so I vividly remember that. I also remember, the culture there. They pray, at sunup and sundown, and even at noon, and everyone's stopping what they're doing and putting the rugs down and going through their prayer. I vividly remember that. And so that's the things. And then actually the history of Turkey, there's castles from the 1400s, 1300s that are still up. And that is a big memory that has stuck with me.
Really?
And they showed where the dungeons were and where the king and the queen, where they resided. That was very interesting, and it was awesome to see.
That's so cool. And then when you go to the Philippines, that's actually where, if our research is correct, that's where you picked up football. That's where you started playing youth football on the base in the Philippines. What was that experience like, and kind of how did you fall in love with the game? Because obviously American football is probably not big in Turkey. I don't know, never been, but also maybe not super big in the Philippines either. So kind of what led you to football?
Yeah, so that's usually a normal question I get from people who don't understand how the air bases work. When you're on the air base, they're all Americans on the airbase.
Yeah.
So you're with American kids and you're playing American sports. And so even going back to Turkey, I remember watching my dad play football with the other airmen. And I started swimming their competition with my brothers. My mom was my coach. And so my competitive juices started early on, and really probably started because I have a twin brother.
Yeah.
And so we competed at everything, not just sports. But now, so we do go to the Philippines, and I started playing tackle football in the 4th grade. Flag football actually back in Turkey, but tackle in the 4th grade, and then played tackle football, all the way through from there until college. But around American kids playing American sports on an American airbase just happened to be thousands and thousands of miles away from the United States.
Great.
Aren't the bases like a little community in and of themselves where it's like you have everything you need in that area?
Yes, yeah. I'm trying to remember what they call it right now, but you have it's called a BX. So there's like a BX, which is now would be considered basically like a Target. But it's very similar to every American city you can think of. You have where you get all the essentials. You can go shop where you get your clothes, Americanized clothes. So they try to make it, a little slice of America just thousands of miles away.
Did you get to leave the base often?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah. Like I had mentioned in Turkey, we would go off base and go visit all the castles, go visit the downtown streets, and then same thing in the Philippines. A lot of really cool beaches. You're in the tropics now in the Far East. But there's even, I remember going to Baguio Mountain. There's a mountain with snow you wouldn't think of in the Philippines. And so I remember doing that as a kid.
That's a mind.
Yes.
Like can't comprehend.
Right, yeah.
And it snows in Turkey too, which people wouldn't think that either.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I remember seeing it.
How much when you think back to your childhood, and I know at the time it was very normal for you to have that upbringing where you're not just like moving across state lines, but internationally over oceans, but how much of that time period in your life impacted you in your adulthood and how you are able to maybe even like forge relationships very quickly?
Oh, no question. Learned early on, we would move so often every 3-4 years. And it was sad, we'd have, friendships, with kids at that early age. And all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm not going to see them anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But we were able to, meet people quickly, forge those relationships. But also I think the biggest thing I got was probably just perspective as well. Perspective of how great this country is, for one. Not that those countries aren't great, but you see, you see how we take care of our bridges and our streets and, our buildings and our structures. And it gives you a lot of perspective on, why we are the greatest country on the planet.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up because recently Steve Cannon, who I know he's retiring, but he was stationed in Germany for a long time, went to West Point, big in the military, and he was talking about how like the farther you get east, like when you're going from like Germany, the closer you get to Russia, it's like where democracy and like authoritarianism like clashed like head on, and you can see it in the infrastructure of these places. So I think that's very fascinating that it's that way in probably multiple different areas of the world, but because of different circumstances.
Right. And this is another point. When I was in Turkey, we had just bombed Libya. This was in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And when we were leaving Turkey, we had F-16 fighters escorting us out of Turkey. And, there was always caution and sirens going off on the base that we could be, under attack. And that's another perspective thing that I have, as I sit here and live in the United States, is most of us go to bed at night not thinking that, there could be an airplane to come over and drop a bomb on us. And so pay my taxes and I pay them every check gladly because I know where I get to live.
Yeah, I have chills.
Honestly, that's very inspiring and very powerful, but a little fun. We want to have some fun here too. Yeah. You mentioned your twin brother, and I love, so twins kind of sort of run in my family, but not a whole lot. But What I think is really interesting about twins is this idea of twin telepathy. Do you, as a twin, think it is real?
I do think it's real.
Okay.
Woo.
I do think it's real.
All right.
Yes.
I need to know why.
Well, there's probably more proof with my wife, who is also a twin.
Which is
she has
hilarious.
an identical twin sister, and I've heard a lot of stories between them two about things that have happened, and then they'll say it at the same exact time, or they were thinking this and they would call and it was happening. And then between me and Jason, I think it was more probably earlier as kids, where we just kind of know the rhythm and rhyme of why we're about to do something, and we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What was it like growing up with someone who, I mean, siblings is one thing, but like a true like built-in best friend
Yes.
that is.
Were they best friends though? I know some
Right,
twins that didn't get along.
You did say y'all were
No.
competitive.
No, we were best friends. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're best friends. We were very, very competitive. Very competitive. Which drove us to be, really good in the sports that we played, and and also in our professions too. He sells yachts and boats down in Tampa right now, and he's one of the best in the country at doing it. And I know it's his competitive drive that makes him successful. But no, we had our battles too. I mean, we're brothers, but going back to all the moving around, I did have that built-in best friend, like you just mentioned, Tori. I had that built-in best friend, which really helped me. He actually loves to talk way more than me. He has that gift of gab. And so I would just we would move to a new place, and I would just kind of sit there and be quiet, kind of take everything in and see what's going on. And my brother was there he was the mouth, and he was going. And, but it was comforting that I had my best friend with me wherever we moved.
Were you a fraternal?
Or fraternal.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but your wife is identical.
They're identical.
Did they ever pull any pranks on you? I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If I had a twin, all the pranks.
Here's the thing. We grew up in the era of Mary Kate and Ashley. So like twins are like the coolest thing for us.
So I went to high school with them. We all went to high school together. So my wife and I were high school sweethearts. We didn't date in high school, but we met freshman year, ninth grade, 6th period, and the class was called Life Choices.
Wow. No way.
And it is. We named one of our boat Life Choices.
Did you buy the boat from your brother?
No, I did not actually.
Come on now. Come on now. Jason, I'm sorry.
I know. I've apologized to him as well. I was all the way up in Seattle. It was a used boat up in Seattle. Bought it up there. So I know he's expecting me to purchase one here in the future, I'm sure.
We're close enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
But going back to the pranks, I do remember my wife, Michelle, her twin sister, Wendy, they would switch classes. And so, the teacher wouldn't know. They had no idea. And they would switch classes. And, of course, I had classes with them as well. And early on, I didn't know. But after a while, I could tell the difference.
How long did it take you to be able to tell the difference between them?
So, as soon as I got to know them, I think with any twins, as soon as you get to know them and you know their mannerisms, how they talk, then you pick it up right away. But like right from the get-go, you're like, what is going on here? They're mirror images of each other, and you can't tell. But I would say it took me a few months, and then now I know.
Are any of your kids twins?
They are not. They are
Okay.
not.
So it's the next generation.
I don't know how it works actually. It's funny because this conversation always comes up. I'm not sure. I don't know how it happens. And if you guys know, that'd be I would love to hear the information. But they say it skips or it runs down this next one. I think it feels like it just happens. But
Random.
I don't know. Genetics are weird, man.
Yes.
Like, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted twins, but now I'm like, that sounds painful. Painful and stressful. I'd be the one that would mix them up.
Have to like paint a toenail a certain color. I know that's what they do with like identical babies.
I thought you were going to say like across the forehead.
Oh,
but
no.
that's more obvious.
Oh man. Well, it's funny too because like by the time that you are in high school, y'all settle into like Washington, and y'all are there for the remainder of your adolescent years. Like, what was it like to not have to leave and move, and you could put roots down?
Right. Yeah, I guess I haven't really reflected on that, but it was nice to go through, my high school years in one high school,
Yeah.
and not have to leave. Because as I'm sure you all know, as you get older, those friendships even get even tighter as you mature and all those things, as opposed to being friends with somebody when you're 5 years old. That's probably not going to,
Right. Yeah.
it fizzles out pretty quick. But, and so, yeah, no, it was very nice to be able to be in one spot for, those 4 years. But then quickly I went to college. And so now I'm moving again. And then,
Right.
and starting a career and started moving then. But I will say it was definitely nice still having those friendships that I still have to this day. And I married one of my friends.
Right. Yeah. It ended up working out. The roots were laid.
Yes.
Everything was good.
Yes.
When you kind of think about that time too, your dad was still active serviceman and I believe was stationed in South Korea for a little bit and was away from the family. And what was that like too? Because I imagine like for a long time y'all are together,
Right.
and then he is off deployed and,
Yes.
and you don't get to see him or talk to him as much as you did previously.
No. I mean, it's tough. There's no other, easy word to say except it was tough. They actually, my parents divorced when we came back to the States. And so when I went to the state of Washington, we went to high school there. He finished some service down in Waco, Texas, and then finished up in South Korea, back into the Far East. And then he would come visit now and then. But no, it was very challenging for him not being there. And then obviously challenging when my parents split.
Right. Yeah. Do you look back on that time and kind of see the lifestyle, the military lifestyle, and kind of the routines of it, and maybe things that even your dad instilled as a child, you still kind of abide by today?
Oh, for sure. The discipline.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one that I'd give him credit for, that most military people are, right? They're disciplined. They go through their process. And, that's definitely my style of the way I go about things, whether, I'm coaching or at the house cleaning up things. Everything's got to be a certain way, or, making your bed, every morning, all those things. He definitely instilled that discipline and that structure in me.
Are your clocks in military time?
No, I'm not a fan. It's so funny. My oldest son, he's actually a fan of that. And when he uses my car, he always changes it to the military time, and I can't figure out how to put it back. I'm not a fan of the military time. I like the regular things. Yeah, no. I like the AM and the PM. Right. I'm good.
I need to know if it's night or morning.
I need to duck the time. I don't know. It's like whatever, 6 hours, just take off the 12 or whatever it is. Yeah. Nah, I don't need that.
Did you ever debate taking the military route, since your father was?
No, I did. My father, he said, so he, enlisted right out of high school, and he told us early on, he said, go to college, and I don't want you guys going right into the military out of high school. He goes, if you go to the military, go to college first, get your degree, and then go into the military. And so that was how he told us and how he guided us. But as soon as I went to college, played college football, I got a business degree. My whole mindset was I wanted to be in some sort of business. But then all my coaching staff that I played for brought me in my senior year before I was finished playing and said, you're a captain, defense, football inside and out. These guys follow you. You're a leader. You need to be coaching. And so then I started off coaching, and here I am 25 years later, I'm still coaching.
What's hilarious about this, though, is that there was a time period between graduating college and starting your coaching career where I believe you worked for a minor league baseball team?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I loved every minute of it.
I need to know, because minor league baseball,
Spokane Indians.
This is awesome. Yeah, I was a Kansas City Royals affiliate. And so what I was doing was I was actually finishing up my degree. So I started as a true freshman at Eastern Washington University, got finished playing. It took me 5 years to get my business degree. So during that 5th year, I actually was an undergraduate assistant for the football team. And then one of my classes was to sell baseball tickets for the Spokane Indians baseball team.
Yeah.
And I would go do that for credit, but also I would get paid for it.
Right.
And so I'd only go in there for 4 hours a day. But they had the big board up, like, hey, who's sold this many tickets? And, they had the whole deal.
Yeah.
And guys, oh yeah. So the employees were there all day long.
Right.
I was only there 4 days, and guess who the number one salesman was? Let's go. And I loved it. I would go out and meet with businesses, sell boxes, sell suites, sell tickets. And I remember all the guys in the office. I still talk to those guys to this day. They were wild. They couldn't believe that I was getting all these sales in such a limited time.
So what was your go-to pitch? Like if
Try to sell us.
yeah,
tickets.
try to sell us
Oh,
for the
geez.
Spokane. What was it? The
Spokane Indians.
Spokane Indians. Okay,
We
Oh
might
my
make a
gosh,
trip to
my
Washington.
we
Where,
are.
why should I get tickets?
I'm a successful
Wow.
businesswoman, and I'm looking for a leisurely activity. What should I do?
Oh, how about that?
I'm giving you a backstory.
That is a good one.
You have
That's-
to know who you're selling to in order to like
I do.
really speak their language. You know.
I do. And so if you're just kind of, a casual fan, I'm gonna bring pictures of what it looks like, where
Okay.
your seat's gonna be from.
Better not be behind a pole.
Oh, it's definitely not that. It's gonna be one of the best seats in the house.
But I
Now,
can't
if you want
afford
even a
that.
better, if you want a better one, then you're gonna have to spit out some more money here. Yeah. But the first one, you just got to get them in the ballpark. As soon as you get them in the ballpark, it's so funny. As soon as they have that experience, and then they want more. It's funny how that works.
Oh man, I love it. It's hilarious. That's so good. Do you have a favorite story of that time, of something that you did? Because I know that one of my favorite thing about minor league baseball is like there are so many like gimmicks and different nights that they have. And I know you're selling tickets, but did you ever was there ever a night where you were like,
Well, one that just came to my head. Do you guys remember? You may not remember. You remember the show Miami Vice?
yes.
Okay. Oh, there was a pause there.
I can think of I remember that there's like a specific like costumes or like outfits that they would wear.
So it was.
Or maybe I'm thinking of the
Crockett,
drink.
Crockett and Tubbs. Now you guys.
Yep.
Yep.
No.
This is 80s.
No,
I'm sure
I
some-
know that I
I know of it. I don't of it. I know of it.
So I can't remember what the theme was, but I don't know what his. I think he's still the president, I believe, of the Spokane Indians. He just sent me this picture probably 6 months ago,
Oh God.
and it was him and I dressed up as these two characters. And I can't remember what the theme was that night, but all the workers dressed up, and I was Tubbs, and he was Crockett, and I was in this awesome early '80s, late '70s outfit. I still had hair. I have the picture. Maybe
Please.
I will send it to you
Yeah.
guys so you guys can post it.
gonna
after
put it-
this podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, honestly, we'll just like put it as an overlay on the podcast. So for the people watching, they'll be like, "Oh, he did have hair."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
the costume. Yeah.
I had great hair too.
That is so great. So what? I mean, just to kind of put a nice little bow on it, like you did that, and you seem like you really enjoyed it. So
I did. They that whole group. There's also a hockey team, a baseball team. I can't remember what the third one was, but they aggressively tried to hire me.
Yeah.
And I was 23, 24 years old. But then, the coaching staff at Eastern Washington really circled around me and said, "No, you need to be a coach."
Yeah.
And they offered me. I think it was a 1 or 2 year deal at the time, and benefits, the whole thing. And I was like, "I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm signing in, and let's do this."
It's crazy too, because I know in your introductory press conference you talked about like, being a defensive coordinator in the NFL was like dream job. Like, was that the dream and the goal with that guy who was like
The reason you turned down the Indians?
right? Yeah, you told
It
me
was-
no.
So as soon as I decided, okay, I'm going to start coaching football.
Yeah.
Then now the goal was, now I want to make it to the National Football League. I couldn't make it as a player. I wasn't wasn't fast enough, wasn't tall enough, all those things. I knew what I was supposed to be, and from a coaching perspective, but as soon as I took the job as a coach, I was like, all right, my dream would be to call defenses in the National Football League. And here I am today.
Love it.
Look at that. The Indians lost as the Falcons did.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that story. That's so great. And I mean, honestly, it's weird how things work out.
It really is.
Like the more we do this podcast, the more, and we talk about life with different people. It's like everybody's exactly where they're supposed to be.
And, Monty Kiffin, who the great defensive coordinator, one of the best of all time, will probably be in the Hall of Fame. My second year coaching, I would write him letters. I ended up working for him. He never remembered it, but I would write him letters. I want to meet with you. He had one of the best defensives going at the time. Would love to meet with you. I want to pick your brain. And it's so funny how it all turned out, where I ended up getting hired by him and working for him. And he's a legend, and a lot of stuff that, he taught me, and the fundamentals of football I still use to this day.
So good. Did you So what did you say when you're like, hey, man, I wrote you like 25 letters?
Or like in handwrite them too?
Oh, he written
Okay.
for sure.
It's like in the notebook. I wrote you every day
Yeah.
for 365 days.
Handwritten cards. Never, didn't respond.
You wanted those
Yeah.
free Indian tickets?
He did. He was like,
Yeah.
he's no longer with the Indians.
It's like my favorite tidbit now. Like, I'm not going to let this one go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that story. Okay, Terrin, we have one more part
We
of
have
this.
the
Uh-oh.
rapid fire. Everyone gets the same 4 questions, and then we have a 5th one that's just like fun and kind of personal for each guest.
Okay.
So the first one is, what is your favorite
Favorite
play of your career?
And it can be
Coaching or playing?
Yeah,
Boy.
tough.
Favorite play, coaching or
Or we could do
I'll
like,
say this. I have one in my head.
okay, go ahead.
And it's so funny that he actually ended his career as an Atlanta Falcon.
Oh, God.
This is 2006.
Okay.
I was coaching the DBs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We were playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Tampa. Rondé Barber picked off Donovan McNabb twice for touchdowns, 2 long touchdowns. But the game came all the way down to a Matt Bryant 62-yard walk-off field goal against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the fans went crazy. That's one of the moments that has stuck with me. It was an electric day.
Kickers. They matter.
They matter. Kickers, they matter. Specialists, they matter.
See, even the defensive coordinator loves the kicker.
I do.
Everybody loves the kicker if they can get those 3. I mean, come on. Okay, next one. Who is your favorite athlete growing up, regardless of sport?
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
That's easy.
Yeah.
No hesitation.
None.
No hesitation.
It was like as soon as I said athlete.
Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Huge influence on me. Yeah. One of the greatest athletes of all time.
His Space Jam is so much better than LeBron James' Space Jam. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
But I hope someone comes at me about that, 'cause I will fight. Space Jam was ruined.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% sure that majority of the people listening to this or watching it agree with that take.
That's not a hot take.
I agree with it.
Yeah. It's a fact. Yeah. Okay, next one. If you have a TV show or movie that you would recommend to the people, what would it be?
Ooh.
I've gotten to where I like gesture, like
Yeah.
have an audience here.
TV show
Or a movie.
or movie.
Yeah.
How about both?
Okay, go.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, yay.
Yeah.
We're spoiled.
Yeah. I just really enjoyed TV show Your Honor.
What's that on?
Can I say that? Are you
I think
responsible?
so. I don't think we're...
It's on Apple TV,
Okay, cool.
which I don't know if that's okay.
I think it's cool.
We're fine.
Yeah.
All right.
We,
Not.
So that's a really good show.
Okay.
Very, very entertaining. I'll say the very first episode, I wouldn't watch it right before you go to sleep because it might keep you up for a little bit. It's gonna
Okay, so suspenseful or like horror?
a little combination of both.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And so it is a very intense scene. I was telling our general manager, Terry, about it. And a couple months later, he goes, "Jimmy, you were right. I was shook."
And I was shook.
Terry
with the Lego.
And then movies, one of the best, I still love this movie to this day, is The Untouchables.
Ooh, yeah. Good movie.
Great movie. Sean Connery,
Yep.
Kevin Costner. There's a bunch of younger actors that are now stars that are in that as well.
Put them on the map.
Great movie.
Yeah. Oh, great answer.
Robert De Niro was in there.
Yeah.
Some really good ones.
That was a good
Have you guys seen it?
No.
I
seen
have.
it?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My resume is not good when it comes to TV shows or movies. We have established that in the. I just keep my mouth shut during that question because I watch trash.
Terren's like reality TV. I got you.
Okay.
Anything with Vince Vaughn? About it. That's about it.
I like Vince Vaughn.
That's about it. That's all I got.
Honestly,
Reality TV,
Yeah.
This
no,
question is almost specifically for Terren so that she can.
I need to
Yeah.
up my game.
Yeah.
But then it's like
Broaden
I don't
her
know it.
horizons.
I'm like, oh, a new season of Jersey Shore? Forget Ozark.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Oh no, it's bad.
Okay.
It's bad. And I throw myself under the bus every time.
Every time.
But it's fine.
Next one, Terren.
If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
I would love to fly.
Good one.
Why? I just like, who wouldn't want to fly? I've had dreams where I'm flying, and I was like, this is really cool. You're above everything, and I mean, yeah, I would want to fly. I'd want to be like Superman.
Post your honor.
What's that?
That dream was not post your honor.
No, it was not. That's right.
Okay, last one. You've lived in a lot of really cool places. If you could travel, though, to any place that you haven't been, where would you want to go?
and I don't know why,
Oh boy.
but I want to see Australia.
Yes.
I've always wanted to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Just from the pictures, just seems you got the ocean, but you got the almost sort of tropical, but some desert. You have the really weird animals.
A lot of weird animals. Big spiders.
A lot of golf courses. I'm a golfer. Yeah, big spiders. There's a lot of big creatures. I don't want that. That's taking me out of it. You're talking me out of it now.
Sorry. I'm like,
I don't want...
you're talking about like all the nice things about Australia, and I'm over here like spiders, snakes,
kangaroos.
They can punch the lights out of you, man.
My mind immediately went to Kangaroo Jack.
Crocodiles.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
You'd be fine. Sharks, it's fine. Just don't get in the ocean.
No, just get in the ocean.
We went from spiders to sharks.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
They're
of
all
scary
in
stuff.
Australia. They're all in Australia.
They're also all in Florida.
Yeah. That is a great answer because I've recently gotten into F1 or F1. And just Talladega Nights.
I let her watch it once.
Yeah. And now I'm like F1. And I think they start their Grand Prix is always like Melbourne, Australia. So if you're ever in Australia, just line up with the F1 like circuit.
Okay, I will do that.
That's not a bad idea.
All right. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That's a good note to end on.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course, anytime.
And as of course, everyone, thank you for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and give all the positive reviews only to the Falcons Podcast Network. No negative vibes. None at all. On Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.